So hi guys everyone, welcome to our episode of Heart to Heart Talks, and today we have two lovely ladies with me, in fact five, because just now we have all the supporting crew at the back of Lily and Co's team, and today they are just share a little bit more of what they actually do, and the main topic that we actually talk about is the frequently asked question that actually can help you guys that are watching to understand a little bit more on that particular service you are looking for. I think Lily and Co fits certain criteria to it. So welcome ladies to the episode.
Hi, I'm Vivio.
Hi, I'm Joanna. Thanks for having us here.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Yacho.
No problem. It's been very tough to get them on board. In fact, most of the vendors are quite busy during this period. So it's kind of nice to actually have them to share a little bit of the insights, to give the value back to the community and of course to the couples that are planning for this year's wedding and subsequent year's wedding. So we hope that these episodes can actually give you a little bit more value, and if you hope to actually have some of the vendors that you are interested in, do feel free to let us know on the comments below. Then we can actually kind of invite them to kind of share more of their gems to us. Yeah, so maybe you can share a little bit more about like what Lily and Co does and what are the plans for this year and subsequent years.
Okay, so Lily and Co primarily we are a wedding styling company, and most people ask like what styling really means. So essentially we take care of every single decor detail that happens on the actual day itself. So that includes flowers, it includes props. We are able to customize and fabricate large scale props down to really small vases as well. And we basically conceptualize the entire look and feel of it. So you can think of us as somebody who's just going to really beautify, your wedding day for you. And it is also according to sort of your preferences, the colors that you like, etc. So that's primarily what we do. We have over the years expanded to various other events as well. So proposals is another thing that we style quite a lot and have seen that picking up, since COVID, ever since. So that's one area, and a lot of other bespoke events. So we do like gender reveal parties, like baby celebrations, and we had a really unique one where we did like a photo shoot for one of our clients' babies, and then it was like a cake smash. So it was a cute event where the baby got to like play with the cake, etc. So yeah, we do quite a whole range of it, but our primary focus is really like weddings. You also asked like for 2024 our plans. So to be honest, we actually started doing a new arm of ours, which is known as Rose and Revel. So for that particular entity itself, we are focused on wedding planning itself. So it's kind of hand-holding our couples from the start to the end. They might come to us without a venue, without a date, without even knowing who the guests are, but we are basically able to kind of line up what's needed for them, who are the vendors they want to use, and that includes the styling element as well. So I think it's really useful that we started in the industry as stylists and now kind of bring that value add in terms of the aesthetics and the designs into the planning arm.
Yeah. And to build on to that, because we've been doing styling for more than 6 years now, so I mean, just to share why we even expanded into wedding planning, like couples were reaching out to us, they were like, hey, look, actually if you do take care of the styling, can you also help me plan my wedding? So it was not like an overnight thing that we decided to actually start offering planning services, but it was really over the years, the rapport and the support from our clients, from our friends like yourself, that made us think like, oh, actually we could also take care of wedding planning for our couples. Yeah. So like Nivio has shared, we would really want to be with our couple from the very start and to just walk through their entire love story, because previously for styling, we were just there after they have booked like most of their vendors, like photog, video, makeup, and then they come to us. So we were always like in the middle of their customer journey. But right now, I think it's really a different experience to be with them from the beginning, to really know more about our couple, to know their story, and then to really just set off in this whole planning journey with them. Yeah.
Oh, very well answered. I felt like I can literally feel your passion from the start of the journey to the end. But I think just one random question I suddenly thought of is like, what is something that you love about your job?
I guess for me, it's like a platform to really explore different areas where because the designs and the decor, even planning of the person's wedding is really different from couple to couple. So I think that basically makes it exciting, right? It's not like I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again, but with every person that we meet, we basically kind of sit down, understand what they want, what they need, what they're looking for, and we kind of also put in our inputs as well to see whether or not, you know, our ideas is resonating with what they want. So for me, that's what makes the job really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, what I like about the job is basically the opportunity to travel to many different places in Singapore. Like when we work with couples, right, they always have different venues. We are going to different hotels. Sometimes you're at a hotel, sometimes you're at a restaurant, you're at a cafe, or you could be at a random part of Jurong Lake just scouting for a place for photo shoot, right? And so we are laughing because we are there together.
Yes,
so
we'll
I
know
think
what
I
it
think
means.
like the explorer in us really finds joy in like going to many different places and just scouting the venue and just looking at a new place and going like, wow, like I don't think people have been here before, but my couple is going to do a wedding here. I wonder how the photos will turn out. I wonder how the lighting will be, how the whole ambience will be like. Yeah, so I think that's something that really draws me and something that I find passion in every day. Yeah.
Oh, it's like a little surprise, right? Like a Kinder surprise kind of thing where you incubate that idea and concept, then you imprint that, but you don't really know how it looks like until everything is done and dusted, right? Then suddenly when you see that whole thing comes alive, you see your client. In fact, last week I was shooting for you guys for your proposal that's at Summer House. The couple was so amazed with your decor. They were
thank you so
insistent to
much.
meet one your crew that actually does the decor and wanted to thank them personally. So I think that was like something that is very priceless in terms of like it's not a transactional thing. It's really like an emotional kind of connection with your couples, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's really a very, very important aspect as well, right? Which is like basically being able to build that connection with them and kind of seeing their good reviews or like their feedback, or their smiles just makes it all the more fulfilling.
Thanks for that super detailed intro. I think that was really needed. But I think on the personal side, I do want our couples that are watching right now to kind of know a little bit better about who are you guys. So I kind of have like a few quick fire rounds that I never share with my viewers and also share with my
I'm scared.
So it's going to be spontaneous. This is not staged.
I don't do well with uncertainty.
Yan Chong is very difficult. He doesn't put us in an easy position.
Yeah, I love it. I love this part of my
We
job.
don't like uncertainty.
I can tell from they came like super early just to understand everything, to like just study exactly how like we want to deliver it and stuff. They are very professional with it. I was telling them this is gonna be a very casual set, so it's nothing to be prepared. I just want that super
told us to
honest
relax.
answer. So maybe you can take turn to answer. It's
Okay.
about
So many.
six questions.
Okay.
One will be answered by your back end crew.
Audrey?
Yeah,
Really?
I'm gonna put everyone on
she's
the spot
surprised too.
just to make sure that I'm fair to everyone, not just the guests, but everyone's involved. Okay, so ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Indoor.
For decor, just
Yeah.
to make sure that we are on the same page. Okay. Oh, that's totally opposite. No
Yeah.
wonder you guys are partners. Okay. Small weddings or big weddings?
Small
weddings.
I think both of us.
Small weddings.
Oh, why? I
Yes.
just wanted to know why.
You can put in a lot more customization and personalization in it. So just think about it, like if they want to like make like wedding favors or just like the flowers alone, they can literally like hand make their wedding favors for like maybe 10 of their guests. If you're having like I don't know, 500 guests type of wedding, then a lot of these elements kind of go away, right? You need to cater for a much wider crowd. Like even like the styling also, you need to be a bit mindful. Like, oh, you know, with the older crowd, you know, like a certain kind of aesthetic versus the younger crowd and things like that. So we have done like really different type of weddings for like the small intimate ones, like ones that have like themes of like movies, you know, which probably a more traditional wedding might not go down that route. So yeah, it gives us a lot more opportunity to style.
Yeah. I say small weddings because I feel like the mindsets of couples have changed over the years, and especially with COVID. Like people are thinking like, okay, do I really need such a big turn up for my wedding? Who are the people that I really want to be on my actual day, sharing my joy and sharing in my celebration. You know, is it gonna be my colleagues? You know, like is it gonna be my relatives that I haven't spoken to in years? So I think recently, over the past few years, we have really received a lot more requests for more intimate events. And it seems like couples are also a bit more attentive to the details, like what Mivo has said. Like they want a more bespoke experience, they want a more bespoke design, and they can really put both of what they envision together into the wedding. So it's not just like, oh, we are just picking from these certain themes, but we want to pick a color theme that both of us resonate with. Both of us love the color blue, and we really want that color to be in our wedding florals, for example. Yeah, so that's why I pick smaller weddings. Yeah.
Nice. Well said. Okay. If you can choose lah, I mean, budget is not a problem. Maybe the couple is like,
that sounds
just
very
write the check.
music to my ear.
Yeah, it's like just write the check, the number. I don't care
Yes,
whatever it is, right? If you can choose one dream location to hopefully you can set up, right? Where will it be?
Outside or inside of Singapore?
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. Yeah, this billionaire couple was like surprised me.
Oh my gosh.
So I follow a lot of like wedding planners from overseas, so you know, like destination weddings and all. And I came across a location. I don't really know where exactly it is, but it's kind of like in a very big chateau with a lakeside view, and then it kind of overlooks. I think it's somewhere in Italy, like overlooking those terraces along like Positano or like Cinque Terre, somewhere along the line. So I think it will be somewhere in Italy. I don't know if it's a house or if it's a villa or something like that, but it has a nice view, and then you have this like crazy owl for the bride to march in and all. Yeah. So it'll be a destination like this. Or even just like Bali. I think it's my dream, like to plan a wedding in Bali, like along a cliffside, along Uluwatu. That would be really a dream project to work on. Yeah.
I can imagine you with the sunset.
Do we have any couples who want to get married in Bali?
They're ready to go.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's definitely like beachfront wedding somewhere in the Bahamas. Because it's like the view is beautiful, the water is there, but it's also a blank slate. Like, you know, there's so much you can do for styling. So I think it's like the perfect backdrop, but yet it doesn't come with too many constraints. And personally, for me, like I love the ocean and like beach holidays. I'm sure most of you guys do also lah, but you know, just saying. So definitely I think that's my ideal. Yeah.
Wow, nice eh. Made me feel like having one.
If you want,
do you want to get married again?
Celebrate your anniversary, we can definitely do that for you.
If you can use one word to describe your company, how would you describe your company?
Wow.
One word?
One word only.
One word.
I'm gonna shout young.
Oh my god.
Manifest
But that
that
is very true. That is
Yeah,
very
really
true.
manifest
It
the
is a
thing.
team made out of very, very,
the majority
very young.
of our
Which I'm very,
our
very
team.
also proud of our
Yeah.
team because they are young but super matured and they are such fast learners.
I mean,
and
they
we
bring
rely on our team a
Yeah.
lot. So yeah, being young is good.
Yeah.
Energy and everything.
They bring the median age of our team down, right?
Which is around how old?
Very old. Okay, no.
25, I suppose.
Like,
Plus minus.
I would say younger.
yeah. Audrey, how old are you?
Still younger. Oh my god.
Oh, 23. Yeah, so they are
my God,
between
so
like
young.
20 to
Yeah, 10 years
23.
apart.
Yeah. Like the
Yes.
IC start with like T
Yeah.
or something like that. We're still in the S range.
Gen Z. Okay, the last question is to your staff.
Alright.
Okay, both bosses, which one will you prefer?
Oh, you brought in a tight spot,
That's a
man.
very, very, very difficult question for RG.
Bro, why are you here
I would
to
say, I would say both. I cannot choose.
Oh, sweet answer.
This is a political correct answer.
Yanchong just wants to stir something.
It's always fun to have this kind of questions so that they will get confused. Okay, but thanks guys for just answering all these like very random questions. But I think it did allow me to even know more about you guys. Like a little bit more in depth of what you usually do and what you guys prefer in terms of your workflow. But we come to the most important part of the video, which is like what are the top 3 like most frequently asked question about your services.
Actually, people ask us like, are we a florist or are we a planner? And our response back is that we are a stylist. And so what makes that different from, a planner or a florist? Styling is basically a lot more than just flowers. It's basically really conceptualizing like every single detail you have. So that includes like, when your guests come into the reception, how do you want them to feel? What signages do you need to kind of direct them to your venue? Besides flowers, you don't like flowers, then what else can we do for you? What is the focal point in your event? Is it going to be, let's say, your stage backdrop? Or do you want to like really highlight, let's say, your aisles or your dance floor? Or is it lighting? Is it like fairy lights that we can bring to you? So I think we basically style to create the ambience and the mood for not just the couple but for the guests as well. And that's very important to really set the tone for the entire event. So that's primarily what I would say is one of the questions that I get asked.
Yeah, I think to add on to that, like the difference between a stylist and a florist, is that for us, we look at the overall theme and the design of the flowers. We even go down to the details of like what type of flowers do you want at your wedding. Like we have brides that come to us and say, hey, look, my favorite flowers are peonies. Do you think they're in season? So we have that knowledge because we have a long-term working relationship with florists that we know that, oh, look, actually peonies are not in season right now, but we can share with you what other flowers you might want to consider for your wedding. Yeah, and we even go down to like, curating a mood board for them, coming up with like the color themes or even the trending colors that you want to look at in terms of your floral design. Yeah, so we might not know the name of every single flower, but we can help our clients understand a bit more about flowers and what significance these flowers will play. For example, we did a wedding in February, and the bride's favorite flower is like carnation and orchids, right? So we actually had to have that conversation with our florist to say like, hey, look, we actually would love to have this particular type of orchid at the wedding. Are you able to bring that in for us? And it was during Chinese New Year. So, like floral shipments, or basically every kind of shipment is just impacted during Chinese New Year because of like Golden Week in China and things like that. So we really had to like sit down and have that convo with our florist and say, hey, look, our couple really want like this particular shade of rose, this particular shade of orchid. We need you to speak with your supplier and make sure that you can bring in this volume of flowers. We are looking at like rows and rows of garlands at Raffles Hotel. So we really need a big quantity of flowers. That's something that as stylists, we pay attention to this detail and we communicate with florists to really execute the brief. Yeah.
Oh, sounds very complicated. Like I think just the conceptualize itself, it's not even the executing, just the conceptualize to the couples take ages and
I think that
months
takes up
and
the
months
most
of
time to be very frank.
Yeah, so I think a lot of couples don't really understand like what are the back end stuff that most of the vendors are doing, including styling. So it's not just about setting it up, but to really convey the vision and the vision board to the couples before even executing it. I think that's something very valuable because couples always have a problem visualizing.
Yes, exactly.
Be it having photographer, videographer or stylist, they always don't really know how the end product is going to be like. And when they see it on the actual day, they'll be like, that is the vibe that I was looking for all along. And that click is something that what we are always hoping to get for the couples.
Yeah.
So actually it's interesting that you mentioned that, but that to the definition about being a stylist and definition being a planner. Yeah, because with the new service that you provide, it does give you this kind of swing between these two spectrum of the services that are providing.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would say it's definitely like a trust process as well, which is why we're also very, very thankful for like clients who approach us, right? It's like they kind of trust that we will be able to execute their vision and be able to kind of envision it on their behalf, because most of them cannot visualize it, but we are able to more or less understand how it's going to turn out, and hence we're suggesting these kind of like, styling elements or the type of design for them in the venue. So usually we work with, how the venue is going to turn out like, and also what kind of experience they are looking for. I would say at the end of the day, like the overall experience ties in together with the look. So it's both like kind of goes in hand in hand. I think for me, some of my couples come to me and be like, oh, what if I want to change my mind later down the road? Because, you know, a lot of them do like plan for their wedding way in advance, right? Especially like Singaporeans, I think we like, oh my god, we need to book the venue already. So like 1 year or even 1.5 years in advance, we already start booking the venues, and they would start to come to us for styling. So I would say we try as much as possible to already conceptualize something that really fits them. But let's say like down the road, like 3 months down, the bride has suddenly changed her favorite color from pink to blue. It is still possible, and it is something that we can definitely help to kind of execute. So I would say changes are bound to happen along the way, but we are able to cater for that all the way to about like 3 to 2 months before the wedding day itself, where there are certain items that we really cannot change. Let's say we've already fabricated it, shipped it all the way to Singapore and created and custom made it for our couples, then these are some items that they cannot change. But in terms of like color scheme, the props they want to use, all of these flowers are things that we can definitely accommodate for. And that's why it's a very fluid process, but it's also like a process that we work very, very closely together for couples.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's good to know. Cause like sometimes you have this like, it's just like a lot of unexpected things on a wedding prep process, right?
Exactly.
So things
that's
swings.
what we understand as well.
Yeah, I think we need to be very flexible in terms of like, what we can commit to our couples. It's not that we kind of like promise the sky and all that, but we just want to assure them that like, oh look, actually if you book me today, yes, we decided on this color theme and this look, but changes do happen along the way, right? You might come across more inspiration, you might go to a few weddings and then you realize, oh no, I don't really like a fairy light backdrop on my stage, it's a bit too yellowy for my venue, things like that. Then, you will come back and have a conversation with us, and then we'll be very open to that because we are like, yeah, we understand, sure, these are the other options that we will suggest based on our experience working with this hotel and what will look good in that whole ballroom, be it ballroom or restaurant. Yeah. So I think, we really want our couples to feel that, oh, okay, we are quite flexible about it. As long as we do have sufficient notice as well. I mean, it cannot be like 3 days beforehand and you're like, I'm going to change my color theme from purple to orange or something like that. But as long as it's like reasonable, like before like 2 or 3 months before the wedding, like Eva said, I think that will give us sufficient time to make adjustments on our side or to just even re-communicate with our partners along the road.
Yeah, I think the key thing like I keep hearing you guys were saying is the communication. The channel must be very open. Constant communication with the couples is very important. That creates this trust thing that is like always there. So do kind of communicate your vision with us as much as you can. It brings out a lot of value. And the process will be much smoother instead of having these hiccups that's popping here and there. We can go to like the last frequently asked question that we usually, like you guys usually receive.
Suddenly, actually, they also come to us and be like, oh, does my design suit my gown? Because they are like very conscious for photos.
Okay,
so, couples who want to style and design, at the end of the day, what they really want is to capture this whole thing into something that can look back, right? And that would be through videos as well as photography. So one important aspect, just not the design and the flowers and the props, but it's also if everything can tie in together with their gowns. So what I would say is that usually I would ask my couple to send me like the gowns that they have chosen as well, just so that I can kind of advise to say like, oh, maybe like the colors are a bit clashy, so when you're walking down the aisles it may not look super nice in photos, and then try to recommend them like a certain other color palette. So these are some things that we can also advise our couples on. So just share as much as possible, that you're willing about, yourself, the day, your vision, and then we can definitely advise you on like, what's good, what's not good. Couples will also like go in a more like oriental or traditional outfits. We might want to suggest like a certain type of decor as well that would really kind of bring out the elegance of the outfits. So that's one interesting aspect, but a lot of brides do think about this, and I'm sure they have also approached you along similar lines when it comes to like videography and photos.
That's quite true though, but usually I just dump the question back to them. I'm like, maybe you want to consult like me and Co. I think they have a better idea. I think generally for our end it's just like we have seen our fair share of like weddings and stuff. we do give some suggestion in terms of the aesthetics.
Yeah.
But of course, you guys are the experts.
Yeah.
For us, it's just more of like, does it make sense, or like does like what you said, like especially the gown part.
Yeah.
Because maybe they spend a lot on the gown.
Yeah.
Then definitely they want to make sure that it
Of
kind of
course.
matches
It
the
must,
theme.
yeah.
And usually they kind of see things through, like almost like couples, they see inspiration from like Pinterest and or Instagram, right? So they only see like parts of it, but they don't really see like the cohesiveness of like all the ideas that they had, plus the conception, like the conceptualized process that you guys actually have for them.
Yeah.
So I think that part, they think couples need a lot of reassurance.
Yes,
It's like,
yes. Reassurance is the
like,
right word.
Is it like, is it really, you know, I'm gonna spend this much amount,
Yeah.
then I really want to make sure that it kind of synergize lah. Then it really be more worthwhile to kind of remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these 3 questions has been like super helpful. Yeah. One question that I sidetracked a little bit is, what is the greatest misconception about your line of work?
Greatest
I
misconception.
think I have one. I would say that people would think that styling is very glamorous because of the outcome of our work. It looks beautiful, it's well put together, there's all the details. But the behind the scenes is far from being glamorous. As you can tell, we're struggling with like cable ties and like scissors, and we're like shifting items from one location to the other. You know, we have to liaise with a lot of manpower and transport just to ensure that whatever we need is kind of transported there and placed according to how we want it. So I would say that is like the largest misconception, but it's also quite funny because, like, you know, we don't want our couples to know what happens behind the scenes. We only want them to see everything that's glamorous. So that's good. The misconception is actually a validation that our work is good, right? Because they're like, oh yeah, styling is like super beautiful, it's like super like glamorous, everything. And we're like, yeah, exactly, that's so true. And we continue to have that, like continue to have that idea in your mind. So that's fun for me.
Wow, okay. How about you, Joanne?
I think it's the same. I think I share the same thoughts as Mivio. Yeah, a lot of people just like, I guess take a look at like social media or our website and think like, wow, your job is so fun, like it looks so good. But they really don't see like the behind the scenes, the hours that we put in, you know, discussing, rediscussing, you know, making changes and all. And like, the logistics behind it, like transporting a lot of heavy items. Sometimes we do carry a bit of like heavyweight items, and all these are just not the glamorous side of the job that you see, or even things that we put up on social media. But it's okay, right? Because like people will never know that side of us, and it's good. We just want to keep it that way, right? Because whenever you turn on your camera and you speak to someone for a meeting, we just want to show you that, hey, look, don't worry, you're in good hands. We're going to take care of everything for you. Make sure your wedding looks so beautiful and aesthetic, right? You don't want to see us like in a mess, our mascara smudged and everything, and wondering like, what's going on with my planner or my stylist? Like, why are they like are they going through something? You know?
It's true. Like I personally seen you guys like set up and stuff. Like I think the earlier years lah. Like you're really hands on and really like be on site. Sweating. Still looking glamorous. Like the outfits you guys chose to set up is like, I'm very impressed that you guys
really?
can still.
I thought I'm always just in a black shirt.
No, but at least it's still presentable in a sense. Then like setting up and like worry about whether like
Oh my gosh,
having
yes.
storm.
We've actually braved like a really bad
Yeah,
before
that
together.
photo shoot at Marina Barrage.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, that's
It got us like running for our lives.
Yeah, you guys are running in the rain.
yeah. So like all these elements that couples maybe fortunate or unfortunate get to see and experience. I think those are really the blood, sweat and tears that we all went through as vendors. I think thanks for highlighting that. I think that's truly important for all of us to at least let the couples kind of sense a glimpse of the not so glam, but then all the hard work that we
But
all
we do it for you. We do it
We do it
only
for
for
you.
you guys.
We do it for you.
Just to make it happen.
Yeah. So maybe I come to I think the last questions that I have.
Oh,
that I wrote it.
already?
This
I
podcast
know.
is ending? No.
I'm trying to like drag it as long as I can with all the values, right? Like, okay, this question is very personal lah. I think it's something that I'm very curious about. And all ask all my vendors is, if you can go back in time and like tell your past self, like before you step into Lily & Co, or maybe a few weeks before you start this company, right? What would you tell your past self?
To be honest, I will tell myself that it's really like a learning journey. Like, it's not like overnight success. You don't just build like relationships with your clients just like that. Like, it really takes like the time and the effort. And it's also fine to kind of go through the process, because as much as it's a longer process, like you want success immediately, but going through it also helps you to understand and experience like what, you know, the entire wedding industry is like, how is it evolving, what do couples really want. And these are all like small things that we've picked up along the way to be where we are at, right? But then when we are much younger, you're just like very impatient. You're just like, oh, I just want to do it. Like, why is it not happening? Like, and like you, so like I think if I were to go back and tell myself, I would like tell myself that it's actually good. It's part of the process, and whatever that you learn is going to be value adding for your couples in future as well. Yeah.
Wow, well answered. Stress, right?
Yeah. Can I just copy your answer?
No, you cannot.
What I'll tell my younger self, maybe to put less pressure on yourself. You know, that it's okay to not win every deal. Yeah, I think initially at the very start of like the business, you know, I was very focused on like, oh look, we need like as much portfolio as we can. So I want to sign like every single client, because to me like every client deal equals like an opportunity for me to showcase my work, right? But then as we go along the years, you know, then we realize that, oh, actually sometimes we take on a lot more projects than what we can cope with. And then, you know, certain months you'll be like, like my calendar is so packed, there are so many events, and then you kind of sometimes get a bit of like, you sometimes get a bit overwhelmed. Yeah, so I think if I could tell my younger self, it would be like, look, it's okay not to win every single project, every single deal, you know, just really focus on every couple as if they are your friends, and you're really just here to help them. Whether or not they sign with you, it's okay. Like, even if they don't sign with you, but they have had a conversation with you, maybe it helped them to make a better decision along the way. You know, like sometimes couples tell me, hey Joanna, thanks so much for your insights and your advice, but we've decided to go with another vendor who has a bit more experience with the venue. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, obviously I feel a bit sad hearing it, but then I'm like, oh, I'm glad that it helped them make that decision, because maybe speaking to like many different vendors, you get to discover like, oh, what's your preference, like what will work better for you, right? So I'm still like, okay, thanks for sharing that with me, you know. It's a feedback that I take on internally, and just ask myself like, oh, okay, how can I serve my future couples better? Yeah.
Oh, very nice answer. I literally seen Joanna grew, like, not from very young. I think it's a misconception.
That's a bit awkward.
Yeah, like just like from her business aspect, like the business itself. Like you're, I think the wisdom that you got this last few years has been like very.
I remember I used to come to you and like, Yan Chong, business is very quiet, Yan Chong, how I need to get like every project. My calendar is so empty.
But I just want to tell you on like, I don't know whether I'll put inside, but I'm just very proud of you guys. Like you guys have done. I think it's been very impressive. Because I have seen companies come and go, right? None of them are as consistent as you guys. So like I think the value that you all deliver is consistent. It's not like it's up and down, and everyone go through different challenges throughout the years, right? So to me personally, maybe I'll put it on record, it's something that is very impressive lah. I don't see this a lot in the Singapore context, at least for the industry.
So thank you so much.
Thank you guys for keep giving the value. Because for me, it's really about giving the value out for the couples, and you guys sense the same thing. That's why, hence, you guys are here. And to have that, I think, is something that I always treasure, the connections and stuff. Like what I think you mentioned, that it's not easy to kind of build a relationship. Everyone start from scratch. So it's kind of nice to kind of have these kind of conversations, to constantly having this connection, not just with you guys, but also with the couples that get clarity. I think main thing is really get the clarity from all these. Your first time planning is going to be your last time planning, or if you don't want to plan, just throw to them.
That's true. We'll take care of everything as well. Don't worry.
So thanks guys for actually spending the late afternoon with me. and from talking from dry weather to now storming outside. If I could share with you guys at all, it's actually storming outside.
Very nice and cozy.
I know, right?
Talking.
This is like the hot tea moment, right?
Yeah. Sweater weather.
Sweater weather.
Yeah.
So if you could nominate, just curious, you can nominate one more like vendor. It's gonna be on the next episode. Who would you want to be? And can you like tell straight to this camera so that I can just share this video that someone have nominated them.
I think a vendor that will be great will be perhaps the bridal gowns, bridal studios that you can speak with. Yeah, I know, because usually when couples at the start of their wedding journey, right, the first few things that they plan for is always venue and my outfits, my gown, my suit, yeah. So it'll be great if you could speak to the bridal studios and to just understand like, oh, how do they differentiate themselves from another brand? You know, like why do couples go to them? Is it like a referral, word of mouth, or like they really like what they see on their catalog or website? Yeah, I think that would be interesting to hear like their POV. Because also on the actual day, usually the bridal gown vendors, they are not there on site. You know what I mean? They're not there with the videographers or the planners. So I don't really see like the faces behind these bridal gown brands. I think you could speak to people like Brightfully Yours, you know, they are also growing their brand and they're doing very well. So it'll be great to speak to them.
But actually, I am curious what the audience would want.
Yeah,
I
what
think
do you
if couples would really want to like listen to maybe your preferred vendors that you want to like kind of like find out more, do let me know like in the comments or whichever places that we posted in. Then we will just definitely contact them directly lah. That will actually help to actually generate more content and also connect with the community itself.
Yeah, it's about what you want.
Yeah, it's usually about what you guys want, not what I want.
Exactly. It's also not like what we want.
So thank you, ladies, for spending the time with me.
Thank you.
And this marks the end of the podcast today.
Oh, so sad that we have to say bye.
It's too short.
Okay, another
We
one
hope that
soon.
you'll have us again.
Yeah.
No problem. Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, nice. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay, have a tight squeeze, guys. 1, 2, 3. Smile.